throwing right for the Mohawks.
Hello and welcome to the Kickoff. I'm Pauline alongside Brett McGowan. It's our Thanksgiving edition. And Brett, you've had kind of a unique situation. You've been on the sidelines doing stats as a coach, now play-by-play, and of course you're in the school. What's it like leading up to Thanksgiving week?
It's exciting. It's exciting. There is an excitement. People that you normally don't see at sporting games are talking about going to the game on Thanksgiving Day. I know it's a big day for the town. Former players who are in college come back, say hello. It's nice to see those faces at those games too. There's a bit of excitement.
There is. It's certainly an alumni game, right? We definitely we'll talk when we get to game time about kind of some of the stars from the past and different people that'll show up for the game. That's always exciting. And I know you have lots of insight to share with us around this rivalry. Yes. Can you talk to us a little bit? I know you have some history, and we love to hear that. Can you start with a little bit of the background of this great rivalry between Medway and the Mohawks?
Well, this is the 101st year of Mohawk football, and that says a lot about a town to have 101 years of football. And this is the 95th year, if my sources were correct, that Medway and Millis play a Thanksgiving Day game, which is also quite incredible. And I would think, one of the longest rivalries in the state at this point.
Yeah, we know. I think Needham has the longest, but it's got to be in range. That's certainly a long time to be playing football games,
yes,
for sure.
Exactly.
Before we get to Thanksgiving, I want to talk a little bit about the season we just witnessed. Sure. I know you have some interesting highlights and some news to share on some different successes. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. Let's talk Medway first. They come in at 5-5. They are the home team this year. They had wins over Bellingham and DS, which Millis did not have. And Medway did make the playoffs, but they lost to Bishop Fenwick 27-14. So they've had a good season under Coach Ted Rigney. Whereas Millis is 3-6. And they did have wins against BMR, Lowell Catholic, and Southeast Regional. So.
Yeah, and certainly we can take a moment and go back to that Southeast Regional game. Obviously, it was on the road, so unfortunately we didn't get to cover that. I happened to be there. 42 seconds left. Owen Caulfield hits Dylan McGuire in the end zone for the go-ahead touchdown. Right. And really just a nice way to cap the season. It was a great game by both sides. I know it was a little tough for South Shore, certainly, at the end of that one. But a little bit of momentum for the Mohawks going into what's going to be a tough game. You mentioned
yes, it is.
The wins against Bellingham. Dover Sherborne was a close game here. We lost. What are your kind of initial thoughts going in?
Going in, just for the Mohawks, they have 6 seniors. They are a small squad, but those seniors give you everything. They leave everything on the field, from Timmy to David, Chuck, Michael Tobin, Pat Halloran, and Dylan McGuire. They are the offensive line, the wide receiver. I mean, those are kind of linebackers. Yes, sure. A lot of big things out there. It's a very small squad, and I think it's impressive that they made it to this point in the season.
Really, we should take a moment and congratulate the coaches. They came in knowing it was a small roster, knowing they would have to not only be smart in games, but be smart in practices. We saw a year ago players going down in practice, which of course is part of football with injuries, and they certainly had their fair share during games. But I really think Coach Shue and the rest of that coaching staff did a nice job of keeping them healthy between games. Yes. And really being able to finish up close to where they started. They are missing a couple players that got injured for the season, but overall a nice job by them.
Right. I mean, you had Noah Ryan, who broke his collarbone. I mean, he made that incredible catch and then took it 80 yards, and then the next play he's done for the year. And then Jacob Smith comes in to replace him and has a great game.
Phenomenal
offense
freshman.
And defense, and then he breaks his collarbone.
Yeah.
And then you got Lincoln Hart, who broke his, I believe it's his thumb, but he's back now, so that's a weapon to be used because he's got a little bit of height.
Yeah, I got to watch Lincoln a little bit in South Shore, got back in his safety position, made some nice plays. I thought really kind of read the offense well, and came forward and made plays when they needed him to. So it was nice to see him back out there for sure. And you can't say enough. We should go back. Jacob Smith true freshman, comes in, right?
Right.
If there's such a thing, I guess, in varsity high school football, but as a freshman and really replaces Noah, has a great game to the point where they're trying to get him the ball and unfortunately has that injury.
He made a great catch.
He certainly did.
He was, and they left him on an island. I called it Smith Island. I let him know that because on defense it was just man on man, and if he didn't make the tackle, the kid was gone, and he would size the kid right up and take him down. He was great for him tackling, and he's someone to look forward. I look forward to watching him play as he gets older.
For sure, and Jacob's a hard worker. I have no doubt he'll come back even better. As far as we move forward towards this game, I know you have some accomplishments to share. Some players, you mentioned the seniors. A couple of them accomplished some pretty amazing things this year. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, actually, Brody Barrett, who's a junior, he was named the TVL Defensive Player of the Year, which says a lot coming from a team that did not win a TVL game this year, but he was a force out there. And so he's great to have out there, especially coming off that serious knee injury last year. And, he was a tight end. He's been on the line. He's played linebacker. He's Mr. Everything out there. And when he hits you, we can feel it up in the stands.
We've felt a few of those Brody tackles this year from the stands. And it's funny, I always forget he's a junior. When I think about the senior group, I just kind of mix him in there inadvertently just because he's certainly playing, at a senior level for sure. So we'll turn our attention to Medway a little bit. I know you have some information on some of those guys. You mentioned 5 and 5. Can you give us a little more detail on what to expect there?
Sure. They have 10 seniors. Their roster is 56, by the way. I looked that up today. I was like, wow, that's a big roster, because we're going to have 11 kids on the field and maybe 8 or 9 as for a bench, which is huge for depth purposes. But their quarterback, number 4, Logan Keeney, is a dual threat. The kid loves to run. He's tough, and he can throw. So he's someone to watch. Their running back, number 5, Christian Catilli, is quick. And he has, and Paul, I've seen it on films, he has like this quick twitch, and then he's gone. And he's breakaway threat. And then he breaks off a lot of big runs. Their wide receiver, number 3, Jacob White, he's a deep threat and a great target, but he may or may not play. I'm not sure, but I did hear that he got injured against Nantucket. And then, of course, Cole Dickerson's on the line. He's someone to watch for Medway.
Thanks for the insight on some of the Medway players. We know it's going to be a great game. Probably be remiss. They have a pretty good coach over there, the Medway Mustangs. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
That they do. Ted Rigney, and he coached in Bellingham and Uxbridge before that, and he's been a part of 5 Super Bowl championships.
Okay.
So he's got some experience on his side on how to win big games. So, in Medway, they are a talented team. They can throw deep. Their running back breaks them open. So Millis has to be good at bringing them down, tackling, keeping the edge, stopping the run. But their defense for Medway, they like to gamble. Their defense backs like to gamble, which could play into Owen Caulfield making some nice throws. They do like to gamble. And the one thing that is noticeable about Medway is sometimes it takes them a little bit longer to get the plays in, which again could result in some penalties that could affect them as well.
Sure.
So they're a little slow on that part. But as far as Millis goes, they need to understand that let's have some fun. Let's go out there. Let's have some fun. Keep the pocket clean for Owen if you're going to be throwing the ball. Open up some holes for Matt Noonan, who again has had a tremendous year on offense and defense. And we should have mentioned him earlier, but he's a tremendous player and a good kid. And they just need to stop the run and don't allow any big plays.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned Matt Noonan. I think we'd probably be remiss. A bit of a running back by committee approach for the Mohawks. We've seen Pat Halloran have really great runs all season. He does a little bit of the dirty work. We'll watch Pat and he'll run, maybe it's a yard, maybe it's minus a yard, and then boom, he breaks one, 10, 15, 20 yards downfield. We've also seen Brody Barrett in that fullback kind of position, and he's gotten some of those hard-to-earn yards. I think it kind of softens the defense up a little and then creates an opportunity for someone like Matt to do some damage. I like that. I'd love to see some play action and let Owen throw the ball downfield. especially if Medway comes in a little bit aggressive or they go some one-on-one.
Right.
You and I always look up downfield for Dylan, and certainly Hayden Leach has had a nice season.
Hayden Leach, 7. Yeah, when he played, because he didn't start the season, and then Game 3, everything changed, and he was there, and he's made some tremendous plays. And Lincoln Hart's back again, and Lincoln's like 6'4".
Yeah, you and I have talked about the impact Noah Ryan's injury had on the team, but then Hayden kind of backfilling that spot and how huge that has been. And Hayden has made some great plays. Not a lot of stuff that necessarily shows up on the stat sheet. Some of it does certainly, but just doing a lot of little things out there, and really been impressed with him.
Yeah, Owen's got some options now on 3rd down, but injuries kind of stalled us out or stalled the Mohawks out earlier in the season. But Hayden being there, Lincoln back, Dylan McGuire, Matt Noonan out of the backfield, Brody Barrett. I'm looking forward to Thursday.
We're making the most out of our small roster, and I think we've hyped everybody up enough. So for Brett McGowan, I'm Paul Eaton. We look forward to bringing you the Thanksgiving Day game. We'll be there. We'll be loud. We'll be excited. We hope to see you there as well. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you at home.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks for watching.